Good afternoon. Welcome to today's lecture on spying during the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. In this speech, we'll examine how espionage played a crucial role in shaping the geopolitical landscape of the Cold War, including the development of the atomic bomb and major conflicts. The Cold War was a period of intense political and military tension between the United States and the Soviet Union that lasted from the end of World War II in 1945 until the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. Two superpowers engaged in a struggle for influence and power, each seeking to spread its political ideology and expand its sphere of influence. One of the key weapons in this struggle was espionage. Both the United States and the Soviet Union invested heavily in intelligence gathering and spying, using sophisticated techniques to gain an edge in the race for nuclear dominance. The development of the atomic bomb was a major driver of espionage during the Cold War. In 1942, the United States launched the Manhattan Project, a top-secret research and development program aimed at producing the first atomic bomb. The Soviet Union also had a program dedicated to developing an atomic bomb that lagged behind the United States. Espionage played a critical role in the Manhattan Project, with Soviet spies infiltrating the project and providing valuable information to their government. One of the most famous examples of espionage during this period was the Rosenbergs, a couple who were arrested and executed in 1953 for passing atomic secrets to the Soviet Union. The development of the atomic bomb led to a dangerous arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union, with both sides stockpiling nuclear weapons in a bid to deter the other from launching a first strike. The prospect of nuclear war hung over the world like a dark cloud, and spying was a critical tool in assessing the other side's capabilities and intentions. The Cuban Missile Crisis, one of the most significant conflicts in the Cold War, and its espionage that helped prevent the situation from escalating into a nuclear war. In 1962, the Soviet Union began to build missile sites in Cuba, a move that alarmed the United States. Through intelligence gathering and spying, the United States was able to identify the missile sites and forcing the Soviet Union to remove them, avoiding a potential nuclear conflict. Another major conflict of the Cold War was the Korean War, which began in 1950 and lasted for 3 years. Espionage played a significant role in the conflict, with both sides using spies to gather intelligence and carry out covert operations. The United States was able to gain an advantage in the conflict by intercepting Soviet and Chinese communications, breaking their codes, enabling the United States to gain valuable information about the enemy's plans and movements. In conclusion, espionage played a critical role in shaping the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. The development of the atomic bomb and the resulting arms race made spying an essential tool for both sides, with the prospect of nuclear war looming over the world. Through intelligence gathering and covert operations, spies were able to gain valuable information about their enemies and prevent conflicts from escalating into full-blown wars. The legacy of the Cold War continues to shape international relations today, with the threat of nuclear war still present in the world. Here are some essay prompts based off of the lecture. What role did the espionage play in development of the atomic bomb during the Cold War? How did the Soviet Union use espionage to gain valuable information about the Manhattan Project? Discuss the role of the Rosenbergs in the Cold War espionage. Why were they important, and how did their actions affect the United States' relationship with the Soviet Union? The Cuban Missile Crisis is often cited as the closest thing the world came to nuclear war during the Cold War. How did intelligence gathering and espionage play a role in preventing the crisis from escalating? Discuss the impacts of the arms race on the Cold War espionage. How did both the United States and the Soviet Union use espionage to gain an edge in the arms race? The Korean War was a significant conflict in the Cold War. How did both sides use espionage to gain an advantage in the conflict? And what role did intelligence gathering play in the outcome of the war? How did the Cold War shape international relations in the decades following its end? In what ways do we still see the legacy of the Cold War in today's world? Espionage was a crucial tool in the Cold War, but also had ethical implications. Discuss the ethical considerations surrounding espionage during the Cold War. How did technological advancements in the field of espionage affect the Cold War? How did the development of new technologies impact intelligence gathering and covert operations? Discuss the impact The fall of the Soviet Union on espionage. How did the end of the Cold War change the role of espionage in international relations? How did popular culture reflect the role of espionage during the Cold War? In what ways did movies, books, and television shows shape public perceptions of espionage and intelligence gathering? Alright, here's a list of facts about the Cold War. Number 1, the Cold War was a geopolitical conflict that lasted from 1947 to 1991 between the United States and its allies and the Soviet Union and its allies. Number 2, the Cold War was not a conventional war, but conflict characterized by political and economic competition, espionage, propaganda, and the military buildup. Number 3, the Soviet Union was the first nation to recognize the People's Republic of China as a legitimate government in 1949. Number 4, the United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers after World War II, with the United States as the dominant economic and military power, the Soviet Union as the largest communist state. Number 5, the Cold War was marked by several significant crises, including the Korean War, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the Vietnam War. Number 6, the United States and the Soviet Union both developed and stockpiled nuclear weapons during the Cold War, leading to the concept of mutually assured destruction. Number 7, the United States and its allies formed the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in 1949, while the Soviet Union and its allies formed the Warsaw Pact in 1955. Number 8, the Cold War had a significant impact on the culture, including film, literature, and music, as both sides used propaganda to shape public opinion. Number 9, the Soviet Union launched the first satellite Sputnik into orbit in 1957, leading to the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union. The Berlin Wall was built in 1961 to prevent East Germans from fleeing to West Germany, became a symbol of the Cold War. 11, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in 1979, leading to a long, costly war that drained Soviet resources. Alright, thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye.